ever wondered how we make any web applications? In modern age, we have multiple options. There are a lot of modern front-end frameworks. I can talk about at least a couple of them like React.js, Ember.js, or there are a lot of toolings around it also like HTMX is very popular. But Angular is one of the front-end framework developed from Google. Is it when it was released, it was very popular and then come up with a lot of breaking changes, especially when Angular JS moved to Angular TypeScript version. It was a lot of breaking changes, and between 2 and 4 was a lot of changes. But still, in the industry, especially in banking industry, or if we talk about an industry that required building a lot of industry maintainable component or web applications, Angular is mostly used over React. Because Angular provide a lot of toolings around it, as well as is very standard, and the Angular CLI is pretty helpful. It has a pretty steep learning curve, but once you understand the concept, it can run very fast on your browser. I'm not here to um, be judgmental on how which one is better, React or Angular, but I have this deep understanding of Angular from my first job that I still feel building a scalable component or web applications, Angular is a go-to framework unless you are a one-man army who write React code. In this video, we're gonna start with Angular and pretty much see how to write Angular applications. First thing first, what is the thing we need, right? For setup, as per Angular, we need Node.js. Our latest LTS version, if we look back, oh, it's broken. Nice. So if we use a Node.js, 20 is the latest version, LTS version, and 21 is the current. However, in my local, I have 20.9, which is little below than LTS, but should be work. And they will ask us to install the global CLI. I'm using Mac OS, so I don't need this Windows related command. And if I see ng version, um, okay, I have 13 installed, but I believe Angular latest version is, let's see, 17. But even though we use 17 or 18 or whatsoever, I believe it's still we should be good with this. I think we have 16 and there is next. 13 is okay. um, okay, so 13 doesn't support 20. I have, what I can do is I can upgrade my Angular version. So since I know is using npm, I will just uninstall my global Angular CLI better, and then install again. If I then try to install, Then it will ask me to create a workspace while it's running, right? So if I now say ng version, I should be around. Okay, it didn't notice Angular is CLI. I know I can do something like this. This is not available anymore. Upgrade. Oh, I can do this. Let's see. Oh, but this will update only the version. How I can upgrade global. Um, it says this, but then if I do that, it doesn't help me much. Now I can do this, kind of go back, and now if I see ng version, auto completion, yes. Okay, I have 17, which is good. Okay, it says because it didn't take the latest command without I am restarting. Let's create an application similar what they have suggested. My app is fine. I do like to like SCSS, but for now let's use CSS because I don't want to run the SCSS all the module. For server-side rendering, no, because I want to create a front-end app only. There is already app in my um, computer. So what I'm gonna do is my app. Now I can do this CSS. No, we should be good with this. Um, then we can open the app using the. So this will be our installation. Meanwhile, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open that folder using my code editor. So I'm just gonna open it. So I have this app open already in my IDE. This is the app open, right? We're gonna go through the folder structure later. Now I can run cd my app, and I can just say ng serve open, and this will open my application Angular, which is cool. At least I have something to start with. Now about the folder structure. So they have source. These are all TypeScript configuration. I have the package JSON where I have the dependency. These are our Angular dependency. RxJS is very popular for Angular to write any I mean, it really helpful when you write uh, HTTPS related any call or anything. It's really helpful. It's amazing how they handle all instead of promises, how they use the subscription and all the stuff. Asynchronous method. T-sleep for TypeScript and Zone.js because Angular has a concept to run a code outside of zone and inside the zone. So these are my dependency for testing and TypeScript. Now, in terms of the app, um, I have all this code basically um, initially, and I have the standalone selector, all those stuff. Now, one thing I really want to mention is what Angular was in back in day when I was using 4 or 5, and now it's very fast compared to back in the day. Now, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove everything, and I'm gonna have just h1 tag, and this is my h1. And for CSS, nothing component level. There's nothing. They have a router outlet imported from router. This um, recently they have added this. Previously we didn't needed this. And for the module, they root module they use a config. This is pretty much new. We never had this, and this is the route. Um, so if I see my app, Angular has this hot reload. The port open at 4200. If I just show, this is my H1, right? Now let's start with a couple of things. Mostly you're gonna create a component. Component is small part of the application. For example, my navbar could be a component. However, inside navbar I could have all of these small list item or a left sidebar or something. This could be a component also. So it depends on how you want to structure your app. There are a lot of theoretical concept like how you structure your app, but mostly in Angular is a modularized base. So you create a module for each of those component that you are creating and import them. Now let's start with component first. Creating a component in Angular is very easy. You just say ng generate component, and then that will gonna have a selector, whatever component you're gonna create. This prefix app will be default. It's a setup from Angular JSON. I can show prefix is app. So based on that, it does that. And remember, the asset is mandatory and the style. So if you want to import an external style, we're gonna import here as well as JavaScript. So let's start to make small component. I'm gonna think about a application. Let's say we're gonna create a um, the basic on to do application that usually we start with, right? So for that, let's type this and go to the CLI, and we're gonna say ng generate component, and we're gonna give a name, right? So let's say for that we're gonna write generate component. Let's say to do list. That will gonna display all the lists, right? Now what will happen is like we'll have this to do list as well as the component where we have this. We don't have any import. So previously I remember we have a module where we can import. Now we can import in component level, which is pretty nice. And at the same time I believe since we are using everything in the component, we need to be able to import here also. But let's see what the document say. Previously we used to have a module and we are able to import in module directly. So in component we have everything. Now selector is the one we have, like we created, and pretty much. Now they said decoupling, style, standalone true, and in the ng module we can import, right? So for me, since I don't have a module but I have a config which have a provider, I can directly import my to do component here, I believe, and I can just say to do this. That should work. It works, right? I'm not sure. What if I don't have it? Let's say it says that if to do I'm going to verify that is included in the component input, which is cool. Pretty standard, I believe. And then now I have this working. I don't need this string. Now assuming a to-do app will have all the basic setup, right? We're gonna have an input text box and in the list. First, what we want to do is list those items. So let's assume in the app I have a to-dos equal to array. I can define an interface here if I need to, and then I can say as a title string, then content string is done boolean, and I can say to do as an array. Now first one I can say title is my to do one, then content random content and is the unequal to false. Now what I'm going to do is replicate all of this, and you say 2 3, and what I am thinking of, I can pass my to do as to do's, and I need to accept this as a input. To do's equal to one of the thing I can think of is I need to export this because the type definition, and this is one of a way where you create a common module maybe, and then you just say I to do yes, I can export. Okay, we have the export already. Now here we can import that easily. This is one way to do it. You could have other way. Now I can say that same thing to do, and it just not defined. So initially I can set to empty. Now this error should be gone because I'm passing. Now if we notice, if we log here in the constructor here, let's say we have a constructor, we have all the to-dos here. is empty. And now one of the things in Angular we need to understand is life cycle. When we define empty, initially is empty, right? However, this to do is only passed after the init is successful. So I believe if I try to show here, let's say to do's, I'll be able to see all my lists. Yeah. So another way to prove that, if I go to Angular lifecycle, we have constructor init, and then we have after view init. So each of these have their own significant reason why is everything is done. For us, we probably need ng on init. So for that, what we can do is we can implement ng on init. What I'm going to do is put in that another screen, and then okay. So here, what I can do is this, and then implement. And let's try in here to those ng on init and to those in constructor. Okay, this is not good. Now if I go back, we'll see that in constructor I have empty, on init I have the full list. So this is very important to understand in Angular concept how the life cycle works. Now one of the thing I can do now with this is I can display all the data, right? So first thing I would like to do is I don't want to just display it like a random item. One way Angular have is like for design, we can import material UI. Angular. So this is one of the most used component for Angular. What I can do is just add this. Yes. So let's wait until it's done. Now we meanwhile we can decide that how we gonna, let's say for this we're gonna use the pink one, to set material type style. Yes. Enable animation. Yes. So how it work is like it has all the component for list. I'm thinking of using the list item, so they have something list, I believe. I can search. Yeah, they have list item, so I'm thinking of using this list basic item, which is pretty awesome. Let's see if our installation is done. Okay, yeah, our installation is done. And if we refresh, we will see that our app is still running. And for list item, let's see the code how it works. So we just have to use math list or something like this, right? I will just copy the code for now, and I'm pretty sure if we have that, we'll say that math list is not part of blah blah blah, all those things, right? So this is because in material UI, each of this component is part of a module. So for example, for list item, you see that they have a list module imported. So since we are using in to-do list, I can just go ahead here and I can just import the module here, and that will gonna make sure the app is running. So we have the list. Now another thing is we noticed that we don't have the CSS imported, right? So for CSS, what we can do is we can import the CSS directly, or we can import here. Now Angular CLI, when I used there was a option, right, for me to use the CLI. It already imported here, but to get this anything whatever we change in package angular.json, we need to restart the server. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna restart the server. Now if I reload, you'll see that I have the list running, which is same as this. Now another thing is there are a couple of options also, right? For list, I can have a divider, I can have those option, all those checkbox. What I want is I want to be able to have this checkbox because remember I have a flag is done or not. And at the same time, since there is a title, I also have a subtitle which has content. So for that, I'm going to have something like this, two-line list, right? Something pretty much this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and copy this and go back to my code and add those. Now I need a closing, and we'll have the item title as a subtitle. Now how to add the checkbox? We need the checkbox also, right? If we go back to the code, we're gonna see that there is something called list option and there is a checkbox, and this is a new way Angular add the loop. Previously we didn't have this loop. We used to use ng for, but now they have a new directive to create this loop, which is nice. So whatever the case, we want to be able to add the checkbox here, whatever we have, right? So let's copy this and see how it behaves with us, right? Now for this, now if you notice, for we have a type of shoes, right? But for us, we have a variable called to-dos. So I can go back directly, add the to-dos. Now I can say rename all of those to-do, right? Now let's see how it goes for us. We have all of this object and we have this checkbox, right? Now instead of the to-do as an object, we could put all our text here. So one of it was item 3 and title, as well as the view, right? Now selection list and list item is totally different. However, a list option can be merged with the other option, I believe. So let's see. So each of these are selection, and then these are button. What if we want to add another item? Can we do that? We should be able to do it. Let's see. Yeah, we can add this, but the selection only happen on the item. What if is there any other way we can do? We could do this also. Let's assume we have only one item here, and we add the item directly in here. Now if you notice, we have title 3 item and title, but that's not also correct. I'm not sure if there is a way to mix with list item and other way. One way I can think of is, let's see in the documentation, list with selection, can select, no, they don't allow. What they have, it's just a select. Okay, um, that is weird. They don't allow us to bind another one. Um, let's ignore. Let's not use selection. What we're gonna do is, how about we use this? We have an item, and we're gonna loop over it. Now we have all the item, right? Three of this. For title, we're gonna say to do the title, and for content, we're gonna say to do the content, and in that way we're gonna be able to say see our all the data, right? So 1 2 3 is available, but again we want to be able to have a checkbox somewhere status. If that's not working, I'm thinking of adding a badge, something like this, or maybe a checkbox is better. Let's use checkbox. Yeah, so I can just add a checkbox, and for checkbox we need to be able to import the checkbox module, and checked will be to do dot is done. Color, we don't need, we can use the default color. We don't have anything intermediate, and let's ignore the change call here. Now if we see your page, we should have a checkbox each of those, right? Now what we want to do is, I want to be able to add a text box on top, and anytime I add the data on the text box, I should be able to see in the addition to this list, right? We can remove all of these for now. What if I'm just thinking, what if we do this? Let's see if this works. If this works, that would be awesome. I don't need this variable, and then I can add the select option, and I have this. What if I have this? Okay, yeah, this works. It's just that my list looks weird, but what we can do in that case is, what if we have this and this? We don't have this. Yeah, it works. This looks much better, I believe. And in that case, do we need the list option? No, we need that. Let's keep it. So this looks much better with the loop. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. So I have all the lists. Now we need a input box. For that we have already called input box, um, something like this. We need both to do as well as the, instead of comment we're gonna have the text item. So we're gonna go ahead and copy directly. So for that we're gonna, what I'm thinking is creating another form, and that will gonna have all the, so we can send all the data, right? So let's go back to our CLI and ng generate component to do form. We can add that, right? Now we have the form already here, and I'm gonna go ahead and add here. Now this is gonna ask to import the mat field. We're gonna have that, be sure, as well as input module. Now just by adding this, as you have noticed, it will not do anything. So what we have to do is in the app component, I'm gonna go ahead and app to do form and add this. Now we're gonna see mat label is not imported. We're gonna go ahead and just import this in the module. Mat label. So we have the form. Now it needs to go up. So for that, what we can do is we can move this below. Now one other thing I notice is like we need some coloring. So what I can do is add a card and something like this. So this can go here. And we need to import the card module. Same thing I'm gonna do for this as well. Now what we could do is like add this in each of this module, but I feel like this is much better. And we have this card totally. So this doesn't looks like same as this. If we go back to form, this is because they have some extra style. If we go is this. Now one of a way we can do this either through this, and there are a lot of utility Angular method we could use that, as well as I really like is there is something called Angular Flexbox. I'm not sure if it's deprecated or still in use. Publishes for this project. Please use the for alternatives. Okay. So what are the alternative they have? So they have something called Flexbox, which is, and what else? CSS grid. Um, okay. Let's use the. This is Flex. This is already supported, and what they do is directly adding those CSS in the component, I believe. Where's the CSS? Yeah, so they can use CSS directly. I would really enjoy adding utility. So I see how this is the one getting used. Um, CSS grid with a layout package. Oh, there is a layout. Let's see in terms of layout. Okay, here. So in the layout, they have some breakpoint. Let's do some googling. Um, layout. This was very helpful for me when I was learning. Now, since this is not supported anymore, the adds dimension. I'm thinking if there is a better way. Okay, so they said that they want to some interesting representation by utility. And the review is what they're saying is layout made significant developments in Angular easy, but it said the Angular team will stop publishing release for experimenter replace level library starting in 15 with a hybrid JavaScript standard. The two most recommended modern CSS solutions are CSS one dimensional and recommended Flexbox starter learning Flexbox. A trade-off Flexbox CSS created and demo here. There's no directive base. We follow Angular distribution practice since Angular Flexlet beta. Publish the latest Angular Flexbox. Oh, there is something like this. What? The same one, right? And but then if I need a column or row, how I'm gonna do that? I wish there's a better way. I don't know. I cannot do that. If there is a module, I wish. No. And if that's the case, do I need to write everything manually now? Publishing security. The system is better on your app station. Learn more. It's easy to give to play. Yeah, Tailwind is nice. I have used it, but that makes me sad. But it's okay. Ah, that makes me sad. Okay. So what we can do is we can just use some CSS styling, but I really do not write CSS. But what to do? So let's get started. We name it as to do form, and based on that I can write CSS here. Display flex direction is a row. Pretty much that should be it. And we have this row, right? Another way, if I put column, it also would works, but it would be like top bottom. This is pretty much okay for now. Oh, I need a button to submit. Now let's add a button also. Now what I need is, I don't need all this CSS full width because my upper should handle it automatically. Now for button, it could be I need a form. It could be without the form field because button is not an input usually. So one of example in Angular I have. Let's go back to input. Let's go example. Do they have a button? No, they have form, I believe. Yes. They don't have a button example. No, I need a button. So there are a couple of examples here. What I want is something primary. But for me, primary will be blue color, not blue, pink color because my color field is pink. So I'm gonna get a matte button. If you notice it, you can ask me to import the module also. Now if I go back, I have the primary, but I want the accent color. Yeah, so this is my button. Now one of the thing is I need to be able to submit this form. For that, another thing, I think I need the fully something like this raise button. So I can say from raise button. So this way my button looks like this, right? Now if you notice, if I submit it just redirect. What I need is I put something. Oh, I need a checkbox also, and I submit, and my to-do list gonna increase, right? There are a couple of ways. What I like is using the reactive form. This is a very important concept in Angular. So just follow with me. We can say constant form equal to this.fb, and this fb will be in the constructor. I can say private fb form builder. I need a reactive form module dot group. Now what I need is from this TypeScript title is done this three thing. Now what I can say is validators dot required. First one is initial value. I can say empty. Same thing as this. But last one, I want to be false. Return constant. Now this form, I can set directly here. From group form. Now for this, I can say my to do value, I don't need to set anything, and I say from controller name title, same thing here. Example, I want to make field whatever, to put it content, and I can, sorry, I need a checkbox. So for checkbox, let's add a checkbox. So a classic checkbox is this. I can say mat from field, like I don't need ng model. Is done. I don't need class, and I say I don't know if I need a mat input. I don't need. However, I still need the from control is done. Let's see if everything goes well. Okay, something is not continuing met from controller. So I believe I don't need this for this. Yeah. So is done. Okay. So by default is not done, which is good, and I have to submit, right? Now, one thing I can do is I can say on submit. I can say add to do. I create this method. Same thing. If I go here, log, I can say this from the values. Now, if you notice, if I submit, you have nothing. However, if I write something, you'll see that my values got changed, right? This is pretty cool. Now, another thing is I want to disable this button. So for that, I can just directly come here, disable from the value. I have an invalid. So you see, it become an invalid. The moment I have this, just become a something, right? This is cool also. Now, one of the thing I want is I want some space between my whole content. So for that, I can go back here and I can have a div class content. That's one thing. For content, what I want is margin, let's say 5 rem, from left to right 5 rem and 1 rem from top to bottom. So I have this, as well as in between I want a little space. So for that, either I add something extra, or easily I can add a margin bottom. So what I'm gonna do is add some text, or they call divider, and this way I have a divider. So this pretty much I have So now next thing is whenever this is done or not done, whenever I click, okay, I change the button, done. Maybe add to do, write something. If I add, I want to be able to send this data to this page. So in Angular, how it works is there is something called output. What you do is a very important concept also in Angular. If we go back and search for output, you see that it is a alias and then input output property. So if we have a input, parent goes to child. If we have an output, child goes to parent. Child goes to parent. So that's how the input output works. So here is the example: add an item. We emit the value from the output, something like that, right? So let's see. Uh, use this. Now here we'll set our output. Now for us, the value will be not string but to do, and then we're gonna say to do event. We're gonna pass to do dot, we're gonna say this dot to do event dot emit, and we're gonna pass the value. So this dot from dot value. Some type of some type of string. Is not type of string. This is a TypeScript error. So if this value initially is null, then it just set the value null, I believe. Oh, partial. Sure. So they just emit, right? String. And my value is a partial. How about if I get raw value? No. One way I could do is as to do. So this will work, but let's see. Unless I could use a destructor method or construct the value, so that will also work. But however it is, it still works. So let's use this. And if we go to our app, and then let's add something, we are still working. So now next thing is to be able to receive that, right? Whenever we pass output, we need to be able to receive that in the input side, right? So for that, we need to pass this input request. Now, so here, what we have done is we could pass this as an alias. I mean, it's not required, but I always like to add that. And from here, we directly say that equal to this. Now we need to be able to get the value. So for that, let's see how it goes. So in output, we pass the item as well as the event. um, oh, I forget one thing. This will not be this, it will be this. Now this event we need to set directly somewhere here in my local. So for example here, if you notice this cross event, we need to be able to call in our method. They don't have an example, I believe. So add item is also okay. They don't have a way to example, but I know pretty much I can just add this item, add item, and then if I log anything, you'll see that so here to be able to pass the event, whatever E I get, right? Now let's do that, run that, right? You see that whatever I write, I'm getting the event inside the event, which is cool. Now next thing is I need to bind this data to my this to do. Okay, so what I can do is I can show this dot to do's dot push. Now here I can do to do. I can say to do. This works. I have everything done and everything works. Now if I add, you see that my item is added there, which is cool. Now one thing I want to do is whenever I'm done, I want to be able to clear it. To be able to clear, I can send the data and this dot form dot I think clear this fetch set value. I can set reset, I believe. I can do reset. Now with that, whenever I add something, the value getting reset. So now my new value is added. One of the thing is if I click here, you see it just updated, but again whenever I click here, I want to be able to send this value to this form so I can update it, as well as here I should be able to select only one, not two. So to do that, what we could do is in the selection I have an option called multiple equal to false. Now I can see it only one, but then for that I need to be able to go here and go there. This option selection. Okay, no, not this. This. So I can select only one. Okay, so now I can select only one value, and if I add anything, is done equal to true, that value is selected. However, current value is false, expression located in fine. Check experiment. So this is one of the life cycle issue. I know that because I had only one selected, but I dynamically changed. And there are a lot of solution for this. We could read on based on change direction. For example, here instead of that content network, like for here, for example, we have ng1 init. We could set the to do, and whatever we get to another variable. That also works. Other way is here. So we could use any lifecycle content chains or something. So this is one of the Angular themselves. It says that Angular has been changed after the change direction has been complete. Angular only works through development, only through this development mode. In development, Angular perform additional check, blah blah blah. Look up when you have added template expression and begin with life cycle. Command that when. So this is only in development. In production, we will not have this pretty much. But there are a lot of way to either contain it or other value. This could be done because you see here in the list, the item we are accessing here to do's is actually changing during the init, right? Now, one of a way we could solve it, like we could say my to do's equal to this, and we could have another life cycle method, and for that, let's see. Okay, so we can implement this after content init. Now, what we could do is whatever we receive, let's define that type also. So we use the best practice for this. We would do this dot my dot to do equal to do's. Now this will solve the problem, but one problem we're gonna have is change detection. We need to be able to identify and change detection. That's another like long thing we need to do. But at least this way we will not have the problem. I just an example I'm trying to see. My to do's. So if we go back to our app, we'll see that my app is running. However, the error is gone. You see, whatever I add is on this. Yeah, so this is cool. Now I noticed that this done is required, but it's not really required. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the required validation because it would be initially false. Now I can add these two. Now if I choose any, what I want is I want to be able to, like for example, if this is done, oh, still I have this. It have this only when I have the checkbox. Um, it should work. Maybe I use the check wrong one. Then checked is the one I should use, I guess. Let's see now. So whatever I have, if I add it into adding, is done. So working. Now what if I add this done to check US value selected true formula list component find more. Oh, did I do anything wrong? Okay, I don't need this. Let's see. So what they have said, you will find the temple and biologists player and ensure that there's no changes in the difference from means refactoring was a correct life cycle. Um, maybe on change. Let's try using on change. I'm not sure if this will work, but let's give it a try. Oh, oh, it just add, but it doesn't add the button, so it doesn't impact. Now, what happens if I do changes? Oh, I just oh, I know what's going on. I don't need all of this. So what's going on is this. So what I mean is, let's say ABC, okay? Now I have this as a true, ABC, ABC. Now if you notice my value is not rendering as true, it's because is this checkbox. Now my loop is inside and I'm not selecting if true or false by no way. So when I'm trying to set the value, it's just causing issue. So if I go back to my here, this, we will see that action, and for those the reference need to be added. For example, in TS we pass all those value. And how do you define the check or not? Let's go to API. For this, input option query list selected option, current selected option. So we can pass selected or not, right? What is the option I have? I need to be able to select the item. How do we do that? Options, combat and select options. This item, let's see how they pass. is this, and they pass a template variable, and based on that they select. However, then can I pass a ng model and pass a selected option? Ah, selected. I don't have any model, but this value, whatever I have, is dynamically I'm trying to change. So it's part of this. Let's say if I don't have it, I'm pretty sure I will be good. Um, did I add something wrong? Oh, I added this. Let's say I don't have none of this. Now if I add is done, I should be good. As you see, it's just the API that's how it behave. Now this is not something I don't think we need to solve for this, but I mean this could be something Angular could fix it. Like we could have an item and we could have a selected item, like maybe that could be one option. What is a select start? So they have active mat list item, and if I go back, so this option has a value. Cool. If I add the value and add the to do this way, I think I should be good. But how I'm gonna make it selected? Okay, I select one, and if I add another, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be fine now. Here, yeah. So it's just that, this is good to know. It's because of this. So yeah, this is not bad. Now on chains, I know what to do. So selection chains, chains to do. We can pass a event, and I know that I need to import this. Okay, not a big deal. So I can log the event. Let's see. Okay, I have this event source. Nice. Now how I'm gonna get the value, specifically whatever I choose. So what they have is template where selection option has value. Then we get a selected. Do I have a selected here? Option source, no. How do the change detect of the selected value? What they have done, if I go to my TS, type of, this is a template value. What I have is same here, I believe. Excuse me. Toggle. Selection change 80 meters. Selection option. Now, hmm, instead of loop, what I could do is I could pass this also. I believe selection options. Maybe, but this under selection list. Yeah, I could pass here options. Now I can take a reference and send it to my backend. Now how about if I see in here what I can get? Source dot selected options. Oh, I can get all of these. Nice. Now I need to get the selected options. Select all is a method. So what in here what they have shown is like you can define a template variable and then select option has value. Now select option gets selected. Um, options selected options selected. Now this way I know whatever I select I get the first item as selected as a value. I don't know if this is something is the right option, but 0 dot I can just put selected item equal to oh, now these the selected item equal to selected. It's an array. To else what if I do? No, it doesn't. Now they can get the 0 dot value selected 0 dot value. Now every time I set, it will gonna set the value itself. 0 dot value equal to undefined. I have the value. Now this value need to be passed in here directly. Because if I have a value, then I need to set. Now if I don't have anything, I need to be able to set this value. So how I do that is pretty easy. As you remember, we know how to pass. Now this to pass here, we need to pass through this and this, which is kind of tedious, but in later we could learn how to use some store angular ngrx or something like that. That might be helpful, but since this is just a small app, we could use that method. There's other option, we could use a service. We could create a service, and whenever we change the method, we update it. but that's also works. But for now we're gonna pass it to parent, and parent is gonna pass this out. So for this same thing what we have done here, we're gonna create a emitter. Same here, we're gonna say there's something even maybe to do selected event, and now we're gonna say I don't need this, but what I can do is this dot to do select dot emit, and I'm gonna pass this value. Now same thing, we need to accept it from our parents, which is our to-do list, and in the list we're gonna say that equal to we can create a local method. Let's say same as this, and we pass the event. Now here I can define my selected item to do equal to selected to do is type of to do or undefined, and then the dot to do equal to to do. Now I have this value. Now this selected value I have to send in the form, right? So for that I need another input here. Input select to do or undefined. Now same as here where how we accepted engine on g init, we're gonna do that, and here we're gonna implement all the method for this, right? This the log selected the selected to do. From parents we need to pass this also to do. Let's see, now we have the whole thing ready, right? Now if I have anything add, we're gonna add this. However, if we have an event, okay, our event is not going there. What's going on? We emit as a output, and here we have to receive this as this. Load this item. This item is here. Our selected to do is undefined initially, and pass this as it is to do form. Oh, ng on init. So this will run only at the beginning, as you know. If we see this run actually, However, every time this variable changes, we need to be able to see, right? But since we Angular has auto change detection, I believe if we just show this in the UI, and then we just select on, we'll see that this is updating automatically because of auto change detection. Now, first thing first, we cannot just set the value here directly if it doesn't exist, right? So there could be a dynamic way we could do it, or we could just look for event of this value. So what it how it work is like we could attach a life cycle whenever there is a on change, right? So what we do is just on change, we're gonna just print it. Now in that way we're gonna run multiple times. Every time there is a change, you see my value is getting updated. Now if this dot, actually we don't need because it only run one change, so initially it doesn't run, I believe. So if I don't have this, okay, it ran at the first time, selected to do from to do form. So yeah, this is better to add. If this dot selected to do, if this is available, then you're gonna say this dot form dot patch value this dot selected to do. Okay, so now initially 0, but whenever we have this we can just get this. Now I can say done, done. But now instead of whenever we have the value, instead of adding, we need to be able to update. You see, now for that we could just change this button to a update button. Now in between this we need to add a ngIf. In Angular 18 they have a, instead of ngIf they have a directive. So if you see in ngIf, I'm pretty sure they have another way too. So directive, they don't have, oh, I thought they have a directive, but I can use ngIf also, that will be fine. So let me do a Google. I think there is a direct. So ng if condition, and there should be else. Yeah, so here, so this is something I was looking for. Ng if, so ng if if selected to do, then I can run this block. we go here, since in the non-productive button, okay, I need to be able to use a deep this, and then I can use like this. I can just use a template. Template. Let's see now. What did I do wrong? ng template. Oh, if selected. What's wrong? It's a non-property is internal component template. ng template. Non-property and dependency to perform component. The flow directive. What's wrong with my thing? Let's see. Do I need any extra directives? No. I can use. Stop. This is going to be a deep and block ng template as block. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let's see in some googling. Oh, ng if. That is correct. It's fine. Oh, you need to import this. My bad. Okay, I had to import to ngf directive. Okay, this is fine. Now, one of the thing is I notice is this not working. The if ngf selected to do. Initially, when I don't have anything, I have this JSON OS. I notice I could it just initially my selected to do is undefined. So not equal to undefined. Maybe this will work. Add to do should be. So what I'm being selected to do is they should work. Define. It should give me great to do. It's not working. Then if I select any, how come? What is my selected to do then? Yeah, initially is nothing. Selected to do. Selected to do. And selected to do constructors undefined. Initially, okay, equal to undefined. That work. Selected to do in there is undefined. I have update to do still. And if I have a data, job, let's say title. Always have update to do. Why? I don't have. Then else block. Oh, okay. So I did wrong. You see, I just need a else block, nothing else. And for if, I just need a directive. So pretty much I can copy the example. You see, it's been a while. This is a new for me. So I agree. So I could just copy this. If selected to do, what I can okay. Block. Oh, selected to do. If condition is if selected to do equal to undefined else block. Come on, this should work. Ah yes, had to do. Now if I do, update to do. Now this thing I like it, so I can do update. Okay, so now whenever I do an update, what I need to do is I need to send another update event, which is very boring, and I'm doing it. No, I'm not. But at least whenever I select something, I have it, and update I have to be able to send another event. So instead of submit, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do on click. Or submit also will gonna work. Instead of add to do, what I'm gonna do is if this from emit, I'm gonna emit with the option. So what I'm gonna do is something like this. That could work, or I could send a new event. What I'm gonna do is emit with, instead of to do, I'm gonna do export interface to do patch event event to do, maybe action as a patch, and so type equal to string and to do equal to do. Now in that case, so here is emit to do action, I'm gonna say. Okay, now here I'm gonna say type this the selected item, then I'm gonna say I can do better. It's a string. I can do create or update. Where I am here, if selected to do available, then I'm gonna do update us create this. This should be fine. And when I'm receiving to do here, you'll see this is wrong, and I'm gonna do this. Oh no, not this. Change to do. I believe this is fine. I don't need this. I don't need this anymore. This is fine. But here, when I'm receiving this selected to do, here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to do action or undefined. Now to do action, if this dot here also action dot type equal to create, and then I'm gonna copy it. Oh no, not here. No, this is I'm doing wrong. Not here. I've to do even. So what I'm happening is whenever I have it to do even here, to do action if to do action type equal create, then we do one thing. So if it's create, we just push to do action to do, or we update is dot, we're gonna say constant item equal to do's find d dot title equal we need the id, but for now for update this gonna be difficult because we need the always id, right? So for that we need a new id one. This is challenging to set everything 100% string. now I need a UID, so I can say dot random dot, and that works, but I need the crypto module. I'm pretty sure there's a beta library for Angular, but for now I'm gonna use the date.timestamp. New date dot to millisecond number. So this works, this works, this works. However, when I'm gonna push, this need to be have the number also, right? So I'm gonna say this to do ID to the new date timestamp. Oh, is that another to do? It's supposed to. Oh, UID, not ID. And then update, I need to be able to find based on the d.uid. I'm getting this to action dot to do dot uid. Now for that, so I'm gonna say this dot to do is equal to this. Actually I can do map if this, then I'm saying return whatever it had, then this with the this dot to do action. Oh, so if t.uid equal to uid say match, then I'm gonna pass the whole thing. Also title, I'm gonna pass action dot to the title, as well as for content I'm gonna pass action to the dot con. Now this could refactor to a single variable, but here we are. Else I'm gonna return the t. I'm gonna pass that t. So now I'm gonna set to do this dot equal to item. Okay, this doesn't require this dot to do's. Oh man. So if this is correct, I should be able to now update. Let's see. Now I add this one and comment this one done. This one, if I take that, I make it to update. Okay, I didn't see update. What happened? If I add text to the to do to then return this, or else I return that to do. So let's see if I receive the new to do, right? Return this with the return to do action. Let's see how it goes. Now I select one. If I see it's an update with to do title done false, right? Now if I go back to update, as I choose this 3s as title, I have it updated here is because I get a update in here. However, my this list is not getting updated here. I believe, sorry, in here, because it received the to do on engine it. What I can do on change, I can look for the data is dot to do. Let's see. I think that way I can understand. So if I have this update, yeah, I have this, let's say this content DFC update. I have the change, but I don't have this. So what I'm gonna do, I know in the change I can get the data also. Changes. I don't remember how to get, but I'm pretty sure I can get the so like I said, this dot to do dot equal to changes dot uh, um, change to do. I think there's something wrong. Simple change. I believe I can get the data. Let's see. Simple change. How to get the data? Change even get data. Interface. What is the interface? Okay. I know that I can get the data if I add an update, but it needs to have this current previous. If I set this to lose current previous, it has showing the changes. title, but I don't have the update changes. Angular listen to change of data. So what we have is they have we can have a change event, but how to work with that? Angular change is detection. So we can have a event on toggle. How to factor that? Ah, and push bar. What if I use this view on I don't know. So this is on an interval, but I don't want that. From parent. So ng on change. So what it does is changes but parent data, but I don't have that data actually. I'm pretty sure this works. Let's say I have this ABC purchase, this also ABC. Now I update. If I change, both are staying on the same data. First change, no. This is using observable, but I don't. Did I update really? That's a good question. So here, cause tools equal to this. Uh, to this, and then I can just this to this to replace. Let's see. So this one there's to this one. Oh, I didn't even update. Both UID is 48. Huh? Why? whenever I update, what is my Y48? Get time, my bad. Okay, now let's see. What is it? Oh, it is caching. Maybe I start with the empty one, so it's better. I could change the time initially, but that's fine. If I create selected to rows undefined, but if we create is push the data. Why isn't adding? If it's empty, then it doesn't know. Let's add at least one. What happened now? It's not adding. Okay, what I did here. Change. There's something I'm wrong doing. Why, if I add, let's say, okay, I did, okay, because the change push. Now, if I add here, it's fine. Now, if I do this, now let's see, change direction. Ta-da, ta-da. Oh, it doesn't understand. My God. Is done equal to nil? Why? Didn't update. X-Man. X-Man. Action is fine, but it didn't update. So the action, I'm not passing the UID. Yes, that's the issue. When I'm updating, form component, I need to do this. If UID equal to selected to row, then start select UID, or else undefined, and this can be D. which is fine in this case. So I pass this UID also. Now what happens is if I do xman, okay, now I should have hopefully, oh yes, oh yes. Now the current to do have this value and automatically updating. Okay, we good. So we don't need this change detection. Man, this was tricky to figure it out. So we don't need any more life cycle because Angular can handle that. So now since it's an object, now I just add whatever uh, to, and this one I say dash dash. Yeah. And one thing I want to do is done. You see, there's no way to know that it's done or not. So for that, I can add a small something on top of it. Let's say what we add, icon maybe. Yeah, we can add icon. So for that, I remember for the list, we could add an icon on the back side of it. Yeah, something like this. Let's add the mat icon at the back, title, and this. Now this will add the icon based on whatever we add. Now if it's done, I want to make it green or something like that, right? So I don't know how the color works. Icon, can we add an icon? Let's see. Oh, color accent. What does it accept? Icon color required. Let's see, API. Come on. Color palette with the color icon. Theme palette. Okay, in the theme palette, what is the color icon I have? Let's see, example maybe is good. No. See, oh, color, no. Maybe I can try to add something. See. Oh, what if I add a color code? See. No. Let's Google instead of doing that. Color. They need a color. But what if I use white? No, it doesn't change website. But why they have the props? By okay, theming. color. Let's say 1. No, it doesn't. Okay, so this icon has this weird behavior that it doesn't allow to add any color. Now, if that's the case, what does it have? I think it's fine. We just can add 2 different icons based on the thing. So what we could do is icon icon can go to, I don't know how to access of icon icon so maybe done, this one done, and then need another one undone. Let's see if those are okay. Yeah, so we can use a ng if, same what we have done here. So what we can do is done is here and undone is here. We can say to do is done as well. Oh, come on. Alright, need this maybe. Is done else. No. Okay. Now if I make it done, come on. Let's add a new one. It's done equal to true. But if I update, done is not updating. Okay, I have to do something for that and to know if really the value is updating or not. For that, done true is done false. It never changes. So I believe it's something to do here. Do I get? Oh, I know. I believe here. Whenever I send add to do. So if I send, so select this, done to do. What happened? True, I send. Then why is not updating? It's done. Todo action dot todo dot is done. I here I can do constant to equal to type start to do title content is done. Title content is done. Okay, so now if I make it done, what? Okay, this is red, right? This is also, I know how to fix it. This dot from dot set validate. No, if I do that, add that. No. Set error. Oh, I don't remember. Angular remove from error. Try submit. Ah, so I was correct. It's just that from set error. I should do it. Sure. Is done. Why? Oh, this need to property set. My bad. Instead of reset, set value. I can just set those empty. That also work. Set update value. It should work, but let's ignore it for now. Unless it has something. Now if I do update, if I want to make it done. Okay, so this works. Now one of the thing is like having a API and calling the backend. I believe we can finish it in the next tutorial. I know this was a pretty long video and there's a lot of things associated with it, and I have been doing Angular. I haven't done Angular for so long that I forget a lot of things, but I hope this was useful and see you on the next video. Thank you.